Up to this point, my channel has done DIY builds. Today, I'm going to attempt to do a DIY repair on this malfunctioning Geenie Duo Plug smart home device. That's coming up next. I decided to make a video on repairing the Geenie Duo Plug because in trying to search for what could be wrong with mine, I couldn't find a video anywhere. Hopefully others who need help with this find their way to this video. I did find people talking about it in blog posts, but it was a lot of terminology going back and forth. Solutions like this can be confusing to the inexperienced. The problem I'm having with my Geenie is that it doesn't supply power to anything I plug into it. It's been working fine for the past month, then a few days ago it just stopped working. I've already opened it up and figured out what's wrong, so I thought I'd recreate the steps I went through to show you how I found what was wrong. This is what I used to open up the Geenie. Of course you'll need the Geenie Duo Plug, a box cutter, a razor blade from one of those cheaper box cutters, and a butter knife. To separate the plug from the shell, I used the razor blade to cut into the edge where the two meet. The plug and the shell are fitted together really well, so there's not much space to allow you to slide anything in there other than a razor blade. I'm going to make a few passes over this edge. While cutting, I can hear some crackling sounds, and I think that's the sound of the blade cutting through the glue. Also, where I'm pointing, there's a ledge inside the shell a little ways down from the outside edge. So as I cut into the edge, the blade will stop at that ledge. I'm going to pry the slot open a little to unglue anything held together by the glue. Now I'll do the same thing all the way around. Finally, I'll use the butter knife to pry up the plug from the shell. And this is what our plug looks like separated from the shell. I'm checking to see if I can find anything obviously wrong with the shell or the plug. From what I can tell, everything looks fine at a glance. The one thing I'm always suspicious of though is the fuse, if there is one. And this device definitely has one. I'm looking at it and I can't really tell if the fuse is blown or not, but that's probably just my inexperienced point of view. I'm going to have to come up with a way to test the fuse. Here I have my Geenie without the shell covering the internal electronics. To set up for my test, I'll plug the Geenie into this outlet. Wait for it to power up. The blue light means Geenie is ready, but the Geenie outlet is still powered off. I'll power on the Geenie outlet to be used in the test. What I plan to do for my test is use this night light, which you can see is on, and plug it into the Geenie outlet. I'll then jumper the fuse circuit, and if the nightlight turns on, that tells me the fuse is the problem. That's it, so the fuse on my Geenie is the problem. To clarify what I did during my test when I said I was going to jumper the fuse, here's a drawing I did on my Surface Pro. So there's a circuit board that you saw me separate from the shell. Soldered onto that is the fuse with one end soldered in place. There's the fuse mechanism, then the other end of the fuse is soldered in place to complete that portion of the circuit. When a fuse blows, the fuse mechanism usually disconnects itself, preventing electricity from flowing through that circuit. What I did to test the fuse, because I visually couldn't tell if the fuse was blown or not, was take a bent strip of insulated wire stripped at the ends and use that to see if temporarily completing the circuit outside of the fuse would allow the Geenie to work by redirecting current flow through the jumper instead. And as you saw, that did work, pinpointing the fuse as the culprit. I did some shopping locally for a 10 amp fuse to replace the blown one on the Geenie. What I found was electrical parts are really hard to come by where I live. Back in the day, I had my choice of hobby shops and specialty electronic parts stores. My only option now is online. Anyway, I did do a heck of a fix on the Geenie, but it's something I wouldn't recommend anyone copy. I reassembled the Geenie and used the nightlight to test it out, and it worked as planned, but I think this time I'll go with plan B and purchase a new one from Amazon. One thing I did learn from this is that if you're going to use these smart home electrical outlets, confirm the amperage rating per outlet is enough to handle the items you'll be using on it. I have to say though, Genie's 10 amp rating seems pretty low, so be careful if you plan to buy Geenie. Also, try to put the smart home outlets in a location where what you plug into it is permanent. Sharing the outlets with high power items like hair dryers is an easy way to blow the fuse. And a quick note on upcoming videos. I am working on one that has been a thorn in my side for a while, but I think I finally resolved a long-standing problem that prevented me from finishing this project. You'll be seeing more on that soon. So that's all for now, and thanks for watching.